Welcome back to another episode. I am the Retro Gambler and today I'm gonna make a system review of the SNK NEO GEO CD and let's go!
I wanna play video games. I wanna play them all day. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, first let's start with a little background story on Neo Geo so you can understand why the Neo Geo CD was developed. Back in 1990, SNK released an arcade machine called the MVS. It was a very cool arcade machine and very special because it was a cartridge-based arcade machine, and the MVS stands for Multi-Video System. And depending on the version of the arcade, it could play up to 6 titles. And there were 4 versions of the arcade with 1, 2, 4 and 6 game slots. And when you were an arcade owner, then to get new titles you only had to buy the cartridges and to change the cartridges inside the arcade instead of buying a whole arcade. And yeah. And in the same year SNK released also a home console called the Neo Geo AES. AES stands for Advanced Entertainment System. And it was also very special at the time because the games for the home console were identical to the games in the arcade. There was everything identical, the graphics, the sound, the gameplay, everything. But the AES system was very expensive. Back in 1990 it cost about $649, just the system. And also the cartridges for the system were way overpriced, I say, because one cartridge costs between $200 and $300 for one game. And in 1994, in an effort by SNK, they tried to reduce the manufacturing costs and to lower the price of the console, so they changed from cartridge technology to CD technology because CD technology was much cheaper at the time. And yeah, in 1994 they released the Neo Geo CD, the Model 1. It was a front-loading system with a single-speed CD-ROM inside, and it was only released in Japan, and only 25,000 units were ever made. So this is a very rare item still today, and it cost about $300, and the games for the Neo Geo CD cost about between $50 and $60, so they were much cheaper than the AES cartridges. And in the same year they also released the Model 2. This was released worldwide. It's a top-loading system and it has also the single-speed CD-ROM inside, but it sold very well, but it was not very popular, the Neo Geo CD, because of the loading times. The loading times, depending on the game, they varied from 50 seconds up to, I read on the internet, up to 2 minutes. And this is the reason why the system wasn't very popular, because of the loading times. For me, I love the Neo Geo CD. I love the second model which I have. It's about the size of an Xbox. It's very heavy, but the loading times aren't that bad for me. I'm used to loading times even back then because I played the Commodore 64 or the Amiga 500 or PC games, and they always have loading times. And okay, for a video console it's not usual to have loading times, but I don't know why everybody hates this system. For me it's a very cool system. But in 1996 they released the third model called the Neo Geo CDC, and it was smaller than the Model 2. It was also a top loader, and it also had a single speed CD-ROM. Everybody thinks that it has a double speed CD-ROM because the loading times were half as long as on the Model 1 or Model 2, but the only reason is because it has a bigger memory cache inside and modern technology, and this is the reason why it loads twice as fast as the other one. And the CDC was also only released in Japan, but very much units were imported to other countries, so you can say the consumer made it a worldwide release. And yeah, this was the background story. Let's come to the console itself. Okay, here's the system. On the front you have the two controller ports, then here you have the power button. When you power the system on, you have here a red light that shows it that the system is on. To open the CD case, you only have to push the button and put the CDs inside. And what I really like about the Neo Geo CD is that the games have their own soundtrack on the CD, and if you want you can only play the soundtrack of the game, or when you hook it up to a stereo, then you can record the soundtrack. And I really like this because I like soundtracks of movies and also of games. Then you can also play audio CDs, and the system is region free, so also the Neo Geo AES system is region free, so you can play all the import titles, the Japanese versions or the American versions. On the back here you have the ventilation, and here you have all your outputs, like your video output, stereo, S-video, AV out, and there you put your power supply in. And here you have all the technical data and the serial number, and I find this very cool because I have the number 381, so this was one of the first that were ever built. Okay, this is the system. Now let's come to the controller. This is the original CD controller. It's a gamepad with 4 buttons, A, B, C, D, select, start, and you have a little mini joystick on the gamepad. It handles very well and I love this controller, but my favorite controller for this system is the original AES controller. It's an arcade style joystick and I really love this controller. It is very well built, and I really love playing the system with this controller because it's more like an arcade feeling. And yeah, you can play the system with the AES controller and also with the CD controller, and also when you have the AES system, so you can play the system with the normal AES controller or also with the CD controller. And now some of my games that I have. Last Blade 2, very cool beat 'em up game, I really love this game. Then the King of Fighters 95, The Art of Fighting 2. And the Neo Geo AES system also made it to the Guinness Book of World Records, at least the Gamers Edition, because over 40% of the games that were ever released for this system are beat 'em ups. So congratulations Neo Geo. Baseball Stars 2, the game I always wanted, very cool baseball game. Crossed Swords, also an awesome game. Crossed Swords 2, which was Neo Geo CD title only. Metal Slug, one hell of a game, and also the Metal Slug series is very popular. Top Hunter, Jump and Run, also very cool. I have more games, but I think that's enough. In the end I will show you now footage of some of my games that I have, and I hope you enjoy them, and also I hope you enjoyed my review. Maybe see you next time. Take care, bye.
No machine gun.